Yeah, my name is Ron Kita, and I'm Ron Kita of Chiralex, Chiralex, Doylestown PA. And Mark, I'd like to thank you for inviting me to the first annual meeting of APEC. As I say, it is the Woodstock of advanced propulsion researchers. Very exciting things happening out there, and yeah, due to scheduling difficulties, Professor Tanya and I couldn't make it. Tanya lives at Penn State. She's with the material science people out there, and it's 4 hours from her place to my place, and then it's an additional 2 hours to over to Hawthorne. But anyways, as you requested, I thought I'd give you an update of where my electrets are going. Everybody heard the word supercapacitors. It's well known out there, and never anybody used the word super electret. And what motivates me to do a YouTube is I get fearful because I see some results, and then what happens, the results go away, and I go, oh my God, I should have made a YouTube of it. And this is another case where I was reluctant to make a YouTube, seeing myself on YouTube for ever how many minutes. I will keep this short and as painless as possible. But I had an experience where I left the window open overnight. The temperature went down to 50 degrees, and I really didn't think much of 50 degrees. And in the morning, I take my electret weights and I take my electrostatic charge readings, and then I realized one of my first what I will call a super electret was not performing at all. And I go, I should have made a YouTube a week or two earlier. I thought, well, this inspires me to make an early YouTube to send out to you. And uh, you know, for those who aren't familiar with me, Ron Kita, patent number 8901943, and it's gravitational shielding, gravitational attenuation, and what's also for those who are new to this YouTube, Rex Research. I am Googleable. Rex Research is one word, Rexresearch, and Chiralex, Chiralex. He assembled all my research into one handy website, and I thank Robert Nelson. He's the man behind Rex Research. It's a great resource. I recommend it. And then I had some additional YouTubes that are, I'm amazed. I can't find my own YouTubes. I have one called Chiralex Addendum. If you go to YouTube, search Chiralex, Chiralex, space addendum, you'll pull up an interesting one where weights are taken. It's an actually run experiment. Proof of principle? Yeah, it was. My goal was to get only to make a YouTube when I went over 2%, and I beat Podkletnov. I got up to about over 1%, and I thought I'll push for 2. And then with the electrets, they are, to say they are quirky, it's more than accurate. And then I have another one. It's you can find it by I have it written down here. It's monopole or monopolar Chiralex Electrets, and that one is because I made that one because I wasn't aware that Sony Corporation made a loudspeaker and headsets based upon monopolar electrets. It was the Uni brand. They were made back in 1976, and I never knew about that. I mean, usually I'm somewhat attuned to electret material. And also Professor Koeth, Koeth, at the University of Maryland. I emailed him one of my YouTubes. I never heard from him, but Koeth just recently has a paper on monopolar electrets. It's very easily findable. He's at the University. Koeth is a very odd name. University of Maryland Electrets. Should pull that up. And what else? Oh yeah. Let's see. What else? I have some notes here that I gotta follow. And I view a YouTube as a legal document, which it really is. And so I have to issue a disclaimer that I do not recommend people making electrets. I say don't make them. They involve high voltages. I try to stay under 25,000 volts, and also they involve materials that can be quite toxic, and even ones that seem chlorobenzenes are Not good. And I bought a material that I thought it's called phenol, PHENOL. And I looked at it. It's a hydroxyl radical onto a benzene ring. And I mean, it's around phenolic plastic. It's around everywhere. And in terms of just being nasty, I was using it as a dopant. And I go, no one ever warned you. This is one of the, it's up there with uh, uh, nitroaniline. And that, you don't want to go to nitro because you get good dipole moments and things can decompose extremely rapidly, which I cannot say what that is, but you don't want to be there. So anyhow, my disclaimer is do not make Electrets. They can harm you and they can kill you. So after my disclosure here, what I'm going to do, hopefully this is going to work, because what happens is when you get an Electret that was a great performer, and then it stops, and you go, oh my heavens, this is the one that shut down. Oh yeah, Bell Laboratories was aware of certain aromatics with ring currents and their performance as related to temperatures, and there were cutoff temperatures. Even if my Electrets get to commercial gravity shielding, which is my goal, 18 months, I don't know. Why set a time limit? I'm having so much fun fooling myself. But anyways, this one dropped down to 50 degrees, lost everything, and I'm reluctant to make another one because it's just, you may have to make a bunch to get a good one. And so even things are documented to the nth degree. So anyhow, this one didn't work at all, and I panicked. I said I should have made an Electret videotape of this. And so here I'm making this. Hopefully, I'm making it from my PC camera. And so this is not going to be a great thing. Hopefully, you can see the dial on my yeah, electric field meter. And so I'm going to try this right now. I'm going to scroll this down, uh, uh, and I'm going to do a few shots of it. And what I'm going to show you, there's a lug nut, and the lug nut is the plus terminal of the Electret. I put the cavity, which is upside down now, onto a hot shoe, and that's the plus terminal. Then I have another. So anyways, terminal. So anyhow, hopefully this works as planned. But okay, I'm going to pull this down. Hopefully I can see what I'm doing enough to. Okay, the Electret should be visible. And if things go right, I had to shorten my okay, I'm passing over it up and down through the field. There is nothing going on here. What I found out is this is now up to room temperature. It's out of the 50-degree range. And so what I'm going to do is drop this thing. Dropping this thing, Electrets, in my patent, people should read, there's a section on going from a hetero Electret to a homocharged Electret, where Electret goes through zero charge. It goes through zero charge and then it comes back, and it really mystifies science. They really don't know what's going on. But it's a V-shaped curve. This Electret is basically quiescent now, but I can bring it back to life when I drop it. When I drop it, this piezoelectric gives a charge to it, and it gives a life that runs for about a day till it goes back to quiescent again. And so hopefully, if I screw this up, I have to wait till tomorrow to do another one. So I'm going to drop it maybe once or twice. Let's see if this works. Oh, here we go. This thing is, holy, can you see it though? Can you see I flipped it over. Okay, now the Electret should be on the other side, which was dead. It came back. This thing is, and can I see this? Can I watch it myself here? Hopefully I got it. The only way I'll know is, hopefully I got this whole thing on here. I'll do it a few times. But this thing was in the hibernation mode, and it came back to life to such a degree. Uh, this just pegs the dial on it, and hopefully I got this whole thing here. I'll flip it over again, and let's see here. It's reading it. It's it's just an incredible. As I use the word, we have supercapacitors, we have super electrets that I call them, and like I said, my goal, can I get to I'll use the word an electret that shields gravity. My goal is 100%. Can I do that in 18 months? Am I being foolish? Am I being I don't know, overly optimistic? But anyhow, I am making progress on stacking my other electrets. There's another series where I have the demonstration of the weight losses. This one has to go through its it has to go through its through its conversion from a hetero charge electret over to homo charge electret, and then hopefully it's going to be a nice performer for gravity shielding. As I said, these things uh, with benzene ring currents, when your temperatures drop, I always wondered, where's the cutoff? And I didn't think that this electret would go flat on me. I know neodymium magnets do not tolerate heat well. Now, your ferrites are a far better, more heat-resistant magnetic material, but with this electret, this is the first one. I had a great performer, and then I go, my God, I lost this damn thing, and making it. You can take, even though it's all well recorded, I have everything, all the notes. Oh yeah, also I will show inside the cavity because I have people who, this is the interior of the cavity. There are imperfections uh, from a sort of a dopant that was incompatible with the other material, and it sort of bled through. I'm going to try to give you an idea of the depth of it. Let's see, I have a pen here. Uh, this is, I'll say, let's see, this is, okay, that's approximate. And then, so it's only about a few millimeters thick. It's really, it's one of my thinnest electrets that really performed well. Because usually with electrets, you go with a thick material. Because the old teaching was that basically you needed a half-inch material. And we have, I know we have, since the polyvinyl difluoride, we have all kinds of materials that are polar by virtue of their halogen component, like polyvinyl difluoride is the fluorine compound. Eventually, I will. I don't want to go there. Hopefully, the hands of someone else will take this to a fluorine benzene material, and the goal is to be about 2 inches thick, 100% shielding of gravity. Because Rhodes, I mean, Dr. Rhodes, for those who may not be familiar, was my mentor. Rhodes, I never knew it, but he was sort of a quiet man. He invented the first photo multiplier with Lee De Forest. Lee De Forest was called the father of radio. Lee De Forest himself had over 202 patents. And if you go to Google patents, the patent number is US 2594740. You'll see a patent to De Forest and Rhodes, and their signatures on it. And also on my other Rex Research explained how I met Rhodes online, and he saw 14% gravity shielding in a quarter inch thick transducer that had this peculiar odor, and because it's the number of chemicals I've gone through, and a lot of the a lot of the chemical companies, they only want to provide chemicals to universities, measures, colleges, institutions, and the government. In terms of they tolerated me for a while, and then I started saying it's easier for me to make some of my own materials. And so this is what an old this is the old workhorse of the electrets are the carnauba rosin, and this is the carnauba wax rosin. And what happens is I like to see materials that have high internal stresses to them. Higher internal stress, you pre-stress the material, so hopefully you can somehow interfere if there are gravity waves or something. The pre-stressing prevents anything from happening, and that's also why I think this cycle this thing is changing charge all the time until it stabilizes at the end. And when it stabilizes, you don't have any of the voltage changes that go on. And so anyhow, that might be another. Hopefully by early December I'll get something on this. But this is the electret that I showed in the white container is highly stressed, and that didn't crack. This is an old one, and you can see the stress cracks in here. These are also electrorheologic. When you apply a voltage to them, well, part of the dangers that can really harm you is these things, by being electrorheologic, they can really, they use the word splatter, which I'll tolerate that. And this is yeah, binary material. And what happened is some of the other material had a different specific gravity, and it settled out. So this is shot, it's spent. I keep it just to show the stresses on this material. It's yeah, it's electrical stresses, and it really raises havoc with the material. And so, okay, what else? Let's see here. I think I covered everything. Oh, yeah, like I said, Professor Coeth at the University of Maryland has the paper on monopolar electrets. I contacted him, and I have some notes here. I will finish up. Let's see. What am I running? I am running 16 minutes. Oh, I'm going to call this part one because I might come back. What I wanted to have as another separate YouTube is one of the things that I'm very fond of. I happened to see it a while ago. They call it ballooning spiders, and it's the silk from the spider is sprayed out. I found it, oddly enough. There's a paper, Ballooning Spiders and Electrets by this woman. And I sent her a message also on what I'm doing. And it uses the word electrets. And they truly are electrets. They're run through a spinneret of the spider. They go out and they harden quickly. And they are charged. And the spider just glides off. And on YouTube, if you type in ballooning spider YouTube, you will see lots of pictures that document this. And in terms of electrostatics, even the beetle, at first I thought Rubenikov was strange, but people are talking metamaterials, metamaterials. When you look at Rubenikov and his microphotographs, you will see nature has basically given us metamaterials. I don't get excited by metallic metamaterials, but when you look at the organic structures and the antenna and the way it's shaped for electrostatic charges, and also, if my memory is correct, with the elytra, which is the big one that Rubenikov studied, there's an interwinglet that flaps, and that interwinglet, I think that is the one that generates the electric charge that gives this beetle really a high lift capacity. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this. I'm running 18 minutes. I've kept it under 20. I'm going to end this I'm going to call it part one, and then I'll come back and hopefully I'll have something that's coherent. Oh, yeah. Also, there's something called the Svensson electrostatic wall at the 3M company. And I may have mentioned this at one time. I was friends with George W. Buckley. He was the CEO of 3M, and he was very interested in what I was doing. Unfortunately, I met him close to retirement. That's in another video. And then he went back to England, and he's still over there. A very interesting guy. He made a lot of money for 3M. And so when he went, he put me into contact with a woman who was in charge of product development. And I made the mistake of saying something about UFOs. And she says 3M cannot have anybody who is affiliated with UFOs anywhere in their list. And so due to her insights, she dropped me. But I think Rex Research also has the electrostatic wall, a lot of documentation. And in terms of a force field that people could not walk through, and it's really interesting. So that'll be part of part two. And then let's see, my notes. Let's see, I think I covered everything. Oh yeah. So in terms of a toast, to end this, It's early in the morning, but a while ago, back in '71, I acquired some Martel 3-star. It's good stuff. I have saved it for an occasion, and I this it's ethanol, so it's not what it looks. It's ethanol. Okay, it's ethanol, and it's aging by virtue of getting darker than hell. So anyhow, to Mark, Tim Ventura, Wayne, uh, Jeremiah's, Jeremy, to the APEC researchers, Central Core. May the ethers be with you. To the Woodstock of science that would perpetuate this as an annual event. I toast you, and hopefully this will not affect my day. So anyhow, good day out there. And so end of part one. Hopefully this thing turned out well. I'm not fond of seeing myself on YouTube or making another one. So I'm gonna hit the button here, and hopefully I can turn this thing off. Let's see, this turn.